because you come and you share your energy, your love, and your support, and your positivity. And in today's world, it's so needed, and we need each other. So we really thank you for being here. If you've been here multiple times, definitely a huge thank you. If it's your first time and coming to one of our Thursday calls, we love to just have you sit back, relax, enjoy these stories. We do this a little bit differently. They're more living room style stories. So if we were to introduce you to one of our friends, you guys could sit down and just have a chat. That's really what this is about, just getting to know each other, getting to know each other's stories, and just having fun with each other. There's a lot of love and support in this community. And again, I always want to thank you guys for bringing that love and support, but for being here and continuing to invite your friends to come. So just a couple ways of how we work the event. Most of all, we want you to have fun. We want you to enjoy, to relax, and to be able to just take all these stories in. Every single week, we've been doing this for 12 weeks. It's our 12th anniversary. And we started these as soon as the pandemic hit. And Trisha and I got together and we're like, we need to do something. We've got to do something to bring people together and to provide a place. And so we decided best way to do that was to gather as many people as possible, to bring them together through Zoom and to just share stories, share our vulnerability, our raw and real stories. Sometimes we cry, sometimes we laugh. It's all different every single time. And we bring different presenters who open the door, and they open the door to allowing us to know what other people are going through and the struggles that some people have, the joys that people are going through, but overall, some solutions that they use to get them to a great place. And that's what we're going to be sharing with each and every one of you guys tonight. So we have two amazing presenters coming to the table to share their stories and again, be real, raw, and vulnerable. And we like to just use this as an opportunity to share how we're all related, why all of these people keep coming to the calls every single week, what's our common ground, what is our bond between us. And it really does stem from our company. Many of us are with a company and that's called Isagenix. It's a nutrition company from Arizona. And Isagenix was put together to free people from pain, from financial, from physical pain, and to bring together communities. And that's what these Thursday nights are. So again, we want to thank you for being here. If you have any questions, we use our chat a lot. If you can't tell, it's already blowing up. So please feel free to enjoy chatting in there. We have lots of different people who monitor it. So if you have any questions, please put your question in there. We also really prefer, if you can, to on the upper right-hand corner, click on the speaker view. And that way you can look at the speaker directly and look into their eyes, look into their soul. And when they tell their stories, see if that's something that you relate to or something that maybe someone else that you know is going through. But as they go through their stories, they're going to tell you how they solved it and how they got out of those places. And a lot of times it's because of this community, this nutrition that we love, and the financial opportunities that are available to everybody. So after we finish with the presentation, we start on time, we end on time. But as soon as we end, which it'll be about the quarter mark after the hour, feel free to stay on the call. If our presenters are available, they love to stay on, and maybe if you have some questions, they'll answer, or if you just want to make some statements relating to their presentation, always feel free to use that the chat box. And if you have any questions and someone invited you to this call, just go ahead and get back to that person who invited you to this call. We want to make sure that everybody feels comfortable here and that you know that this is a home that so many of us have chosen. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. And again, we want to thank you guys for being here. We do keep you muted, but at the end of the call, we'll go ahead and unmute. And so you can ask those questions. But my name is Stephanie Beebe, and I want to thank you guys all for being here. I have been with Isagenix for 7.5 years. And it's been the most incredible experience for myself as well as everybody on this call. And so if you were invited today, if you're a guest and you were invited by a friend, it's because they love you and because they wanted to share something special with you. And the stories that we're going to be presenting tonight are near and dear to so many of our hearts. but it's also because of this nutrition and the financial plan that we've been able to have this company, Isagenix, solve different things in our lives. And so if you can read the Isagenix mission statement, that's why Isagenix was put together, to impact the world with their health and free people from physical and financial pain. And we're doing that all over the world. So again, we want to thank you for being here tonight. Now, we do share some incredible stories every single week. If you keep coming back and you've heard a few of our stories, there's like some amazing stories that have been told. We can't guarantee, who's going to have what type of success with our nutrition and our financial, but we do know that with hard work and consistency, support, that people have incredible things happen to them. And it happens every single day. So again, we want to thank you for being here. We do this every single week. This is our 12th week of being able to present during the pandemic and be able to give people that place of positivity in the community, and just a place where you know that there's going to be some light and some shining lighthouses, beacons of light being shined on every single person that attends this call. So we want to thank you for trusting us and being here. Next week, we have some very special friends, Aaron Harvey and Paul Kruger, joining us, and they're going to be talking about finding your inner strength. So we welcome you back. Please always feel free to invite guests and have them join and learn more about our mission. And with that, I want to introduce our two speakers for tonight. We're so excited about these speakers. Many of you know our partner, Trisha Wilkins, the host of these calls. She's going to dive deep into her story and really go into what brought her here and how did she come out of situations that were a little difficult as a child. And then Zach Slobin. And Zach is one of our main presenters in Isagenix. And if you've heard him speak before, you know how powerful his presentations are. He's going to share a little bit more about that in-depth presentation and how to fight back, how to use this company and these solutions to create. And so both of them have created a life that they are in love with, and they want to show other people how to do the same thing. So Trisha, thank you so much for sharing tonight.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for being on this call. I need to take the chat off or else I'll squirrel out with you guys, but I know Stephanie will let me know if she needs me. And I just want to thank you guys all for being on this call. You know, these weekly calls have been really special to so many of us. Grateful that Stephanie was willing and so open to collaborate, and she's been absolutely incredible. And you know, our stories are each unique, and I actually love that we start with the disclaimer, because it's kind of for me, it's a moment to just sit and go, you know, what am I capable of? You know, when you're hearing these incredible stories and you're seeing solutions and things are being presented to you, it's an opportunity to go, you know what, is this something that I want to align myself with? Is it something that I actually could get behind and that I need in my life? And could I do this? You know? And I'm grateful, you know, that Isagenix has become my home. You know, you're going to hear from someone here soon, a good friend of mine, Zach, that, you know, has been in so many different companies and is so experienced and is so wise, which is why we love hearing from him. You know, but I call myself blessed that Isagenix was my first home. You know, that I started for product solutions and health solutions, and that it became just something so much more than I ever dreamed it could have been. And I hope that you guys will stay with me tonight, because I have a couple of bullets here, but really I got on my knees before I started this call, and I just asked that my heart would be led to share what needs to be shared, and that the message will be delivered to your hearts in the way that it's meant to be delivered. As I sat and thought about my story, you know, it's interesting. We have flashbacks, right, of moments of our life in it, and we can imagine ourselves in this one moment, and it's like you can see everything clearly. You know, like I can imagine myself when I was, goodness gracious, 7 years old, 7 or 8, sitting on my, you know, Aunt Cedra's plush red carpet in her home in Texas, and you know, swamp coolers going and dark walls, you know, the green light that was so, you know, back then, you know, like not real lights, but like the colored lights. So it was this dark room. And I remember sitting there exhausted, guys, and I was a little kid, but I was exhausted. And I think back about that moment simply because from that moment on until, really 7 years ago of starting Isagenix, there were so many moments in my life where I was just utterly exhausted. And I would love to hear from you guys and, in the chat, if you've ever just felt that. And I want to talk just for a second about deserved fatigue and undeserved fatigue, right? I have experienced a lot of undeserved fatigue in my life. And that exhaustion came from, not eating well or not eating enough of the good stuff, not sleeping enough, not getting enough water, the basic things that our bodies require, right? I have felt that exhaustion. And that fatigue and exhaustion led to a lot of no's in my life where I shut doors and said no to things or canceled on things or just didn't feel like it, right? I mean, I know you guys understand that, right? You ever just not felt like doing something because you were just unmotivated, tired, right? Not feeling great, whatever the reason was, you just said no to things. And I share that because, 7 years ago, right before I started Isagenix, I was on my knees asking God to help me because I was done saying no to things, like done saying no to things. Because what I realized is that every time I said no to somebody or no to an opportunity, no to even just fun things, I was losing a little bit of myself. And I was putting up some walls, and I was, removing people from my life that, after hearing no enough times, they stopped inviting me, right? Or they stopped seeking me out. And so I was putting myself in a corner in a dark place, just like I was as that little girl in Texas, in that dark room, exhausted. I was putting myself there, and I was an adult. I mean, I wasn't a little kid that was being acted upon. I was a grown adult with all the choices in the world and all the power in the world to determine how I feel, what I was doing, and where I was spending my energy. You guys feel me? Right? That's what I realized, is that I was saying no to life, and in so doing, I was losing myself. And so why do I share this right now, on an Isagenix call? I've never shared, that part of my story, but I share that, and I need to go back a little bit more just for a second, but I do have a purpose for sharing that. So stick with me. If you have been around my trainings or my calls, or you've heard parts of my story, you know how important circles are to me. I talk about circles all the time, right? Right? Anybody in the chat box know what I'm talking about? Right? My elephant circles. I love this idea of elephant circles, right? Like, in a brief summary, when there's danger in the wild and elephants are faced with danger, they'll circle up and they place their old or their feeble, or especially their young, in the middle of that circle, and they face the danger head on in this circle, right? With the idea that nothing will penetrate that circle, and that their strongest members are on the outside facing the danger. And so I love this idea because from a young girl, I have sought out strengths. I have sought out pillars. I have sought out systems that I could put in place that would protect me. All right. Growing up in an abusive home, I had to do that. Like, I had to find outlets where I felt safe, where I felt like I could be me for a minute, and where I could just enjoy life without worrying what was going to come next or happen to me next. And so I sought out pillars. And as I got older, I found myself continually finding new pillars dependent on what my goal was. So a question I have for you guys is, why did you come here tonight? Was it simply just because you wanted to say yes to a friend, or was it because maybe there's something that you want more of in life, or you want to improve in your life, or you want better in your life? Is there something? Because I know that through my whole life, because of who I am and who I believe I am, which is a daughter of God, like, my whole life I have spent trying to improve myself and better myself and think of what I could do more or what I could do better and how I could better serve the world around me. And that's really what was going on 7 years ago, guys. I wasn't just looking for a weight loss, solution, even though I wanted to lose some weight. In fact, I had about 95 pounds to lose. I wanted to lose weight. I really wanted energy. I wanted energy badly. I needed energy so I could start saying yes to life. You know, I wanted a lot of things, but more importantly, bottom line, guys, strip it all away. And the truth is I just wanted to have fun. I wanted to laugh. I wanted to enjoy life again. I wanted to play with my kids. I wanted to be an active, you know, partner with my husband and just enjoyed life. Like I was looking for energy. Okay. That is bottom line what I was looking for 7 years ago. And I was looking for pillars that could help me do that. I was looking for people and things that could help me achieve my goals. All right. And like many of you, I had tried a lot of different things, and they had failed me over and over and over again. And so what I would like to do tonight, just quickly, is share a couple of the products that, you know, came in my brown box. I call it my box of Disneyland. That came in my brown box that really changed my life and became pillars in my life. Now, these pillars are nothing in comparison to the men and women that have come into my life through Isagenix, my Isagenix family, the community that I have created, the lessons I have learned, listening to people like Zach who have inspired me and given me the tools to continue going forward and bettering myself. But these pillars are so important, guys, like so important that I took them with me to my beach trip in California. I mean, I had more Isagenix products than I had clothes in my suitcase, all right? Because my health is so important to me. Because why? Because 7 years ago, I was looking to say yes to life. And so I put these products in my body every single day because I want to continue saying yes to life. I will not, you know, sit on a rocking chair for the last 10 years of my life and let the world pass me by. I want to live until the day that I die. And because of that, I continue to use these products. So let me just go through really quick a couple of these that are so important. And for most of us, if we got started on any kind of pack, especially like our basic starter packs, you're probably going to recognize some of these products. And if you haven't gotten started, then these are some of our core products that make up our system. And what I like to say is they fill in all the gaps so that you have the right nutrition. You're getting what you need every single day. You know, I don't know who I heard it from, but years ago I was talking to, it was probably PK Smith, a buddy of ours. But, you know, he was talking about, if it was PK, he was talking about, you know, it doesn't matter what kind of vehicles in your driveway. You can spend all your money and resources on having the perfect dream vehicle, right? In the chat, I'd love to hear what your car is because I am shopping, right? What is the perfect vehicle out there, right? What's your favorite? I know most of my Texas buddies are going to say some kind of Ford. Some of you are probably like anti-Ford. That's fine. Just keep it to yourself. You know, like, what's your dream vehicle? It doesn't matter what your dream vehicle is if you're putting the wrong kind of gasoline in it. And if you're not changing the oil filter, and if you're not changing the air filter, and if you're not waxing it and cleaning it and doing all those things, like your car will go from this amazing vehicle that costs so much money to junk. Like literally that will happen in a month or two period of time of just not doing anything for it, right? Right? I ran out of gas a few times. I know how that works. I've come really close to forgetting my oil change a couple times. I know that's bad, right? So, you know, there's a couple of things that we need to look at with our bodies, right? And of course, I forgot my shake, my most important pillar. But our shakes are the first one. And every single day I put a shake in my body, right? Our shakes, you know, I've heard it said that they're kind of the equivalency of eating 3 organic meals. So we're talking like super dense nutrition without any of the junk. It was created by, you know, a diabetic for diabetics. And then he made it so that it was good for the rest of the world. Like, how great is that we have nutrition that fits everyone, whether you're in your 80s or you're a young toddler or you're an athlete, or it doesn't matter who you are, what age or gender, it doesn't matter because our bodies all need the same key nutrition, right? And that's what our shakes do. And you get it every single day. So believe me, I was so grateful to have my shakes with me in California every single morning and set myself up for success. All right. As much as I love those cronuts, I had my shake first. All right. Okay. All right. So second is our vitamins. And this is something that I get in every single day. And it's simply because you know, first of all, I'm speaking to all the yellows out there, all the squirrels, right? There's no way that I could get this much nutrition in my body every single day because I can't open that many bottles, all right? But I can get a packet of vitamins that have everything, literally everything my body needs with minerals and vitamins and fish oils and CoQ10 and resveratrol. I know I heard Eric Coover He's the son of our founders, an incredible man and father. He talked about, our vitamins being just those that they fill in the gaps of our, like what we're missing in our nutrition. And he talked about how, like just resveratrol, for example. What did he say, Stephanie? I think you were there. He said, there's enough resveratrol in one of these pills, which is the good stuff in red wine, guys. It's like 50 glasses of red wine. So it's like, take this or start the party. Well, I can't party that hard, so I'll take this every single day, right? So our vitamins are amazing. And going back to where I was 7 years ago, I was looking for nutrition. I was looking for energy. I was trying to fix things, but I felt like I was just blundering around, like with no idea what was working, with no idea where to go next. I was spending money at Sprouts and Whole Foods and on Amazon. I was doing all these things, but I wasn't really feeling or seeing a difference. And within 30 days of using just our shakes and our vitamins, these other things, I felt the difference. I saw the difference. My body, my skin, my eye color, like everything came alive. And I know, guys, it was simply because my body was, just lacking nutrition for so long, like so depleted. My favorite product, I want to hear from you guys. Maybe this isn't your favorite product, but it is mine. Ionic Supreme. I take this like 3 or 4 times a day, every day. I put it in my favorite mixes. I got a mix called the Mama Juice. It's like this, and hydrate and ice water, and it's delicious. Sometimes I throw an e-shot in there if I really need it. All right. But this, I've heard it called Frisky Juice, Liquid Gold, all the above. This is an incredible product. It relieves my stress. And what's cool about it is because there's no artificial ingredients in any of our products, guys. It's pretty remarkable, right? Kathy Coover and Jim Coover, there is zero compromise when it comes to the ingredients of our products. And that's why we call them better than organic, right? And I love that I can take this Ionic Supreme first thing in the morning, and it just wakes me up and gets me going. And it's been an answer to a lot of my ups and downs with emotion and fatigue. But I also love that I can take it right before I go to bed and have the best night's sleep of my life. Like it's magic to me. Like I don't even know how that's possible, but it's magic to me. So the product that wakes me up and gets me going is also the one that helps me sleep good. So go figure. Last one that I'll share with you guys, because I want to get over to Zach. I'm excited to hear from him. It's been a while. But this Cleanse for Life truly sets Isagenix apart. All right. This one product really, truly sets us apart. And I say that because as much as I love our nutrition and the ionics and the vitamins and all of these pillars of nutrition and what I needed, what I was lacking for so many years, literally my whole life, I was lacking these key ingredients or nutrition, whatever you want to call it. Cleansing has been the game changer for me. Like this is the way that I reset. And whenever my body is starting to slow down, just like in your car, right? You would change your oil filter. This is the oil change, guys, for our vehicles, the most precious vehicle we have that will take us through life and help us to have fun and create adventures and have beautiful relationships. Like our bodies need to be taken care of. And this for me is one of those key products that helps me take care of this beautiful body that I'm so grateful for. And that, I'm just so excited for. It just simply helps your body remove toxins, which is what your body already does. It just needs a little bit of help because we live in a very stressful and polluted world. And this product is like, it just supercharges our body and helps it do it fast. Well, in the process, it helps, cleanse and heal our internal, whatever's going on internally. So I tell a lot of people, when you're using Isagenix the first 2 or 3 weeks, you might not even notice the outside difference because there's so much healing happening on the inside. But it happens and it starts showing up and it gets better and better and better. And y'all, I will tell you that after 7 years, life just continues to get better and better and better. And I am so grateful for this company that has been such a strong pillar in my life. I have some major health goals when it comes to the things that I want to achieve in this life. And Isagenix is one of my most important pillars. And it's something that I'll have for the rest of my life, thanks to, Jim and Kathy and their team and the incredible associates that you guys know, and some of them that invited you to this call. You know, we're on a mission to change lives, one family at a time. And we will become the most respected and trusted company in this industry and in the world when it comes to health. I know it because of the stories that I hear every single Thursday. So thank you so much for being a part of this call. I'm so excited to introduce Zach Slobin to you guys, just a friend, a mentor, an incredible man who has been a light to so many in waking them up. You know, we're waking bodies up every single day through their health. And then once they wake up, it's time to really get focused on what comes next. And what more do you want out of life? How else can you be free? Because we can have all the health and energy in the world, but if we don't have the financial freedom and the time freedom, then we can't enjoy it like we should. And the same goes the opposite way. So that's why Isagenix is a perfect marriage of health and finance and personal growth. And I'm so grateful to have you on the call tonight, Zach.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here. Can you guys just show Trisha some love in the chat box if you haven't already? She's always just so dynamic, so much energy, so much passion, and just such a just perfect example of what's possible when you're willing to get out of your own way, take massive action, and just kind of see what's on the other side. You know, the thing I love most about you, my friend, is that I've been telling your story since the day we met. I really have, and I've never stopped, and I never will stop, because you epitomize you know, something that we coach on all the time, which is feel the fear and do it anyway. You know, it's also the reality of people sometimes will look at the prices of what it might quote unquote cost to get started, but you asked yourself the question of what will it cost me if I don't? And you took action, and you know, and it's like Tony Robbins says, he says, we never lack resources, we only lack resourcefulness. And you were resourceful in how you got started and why you chose to take action. And now you see so many people that are benefiting because you said yes. And I'm one of those people that benefits because you said yes as well. So I just so appreciate you, and I just honor you. And it's really just great to be here. And I'm always just honored to be a part of this community and to share with people, whether you guys are already a part of Isagenix or you're just taking a look for the first time. I just want to acknowledge you for being here right now. There's a quote that I love, and I feel like it's Brian Tracy that said it years ago, that he said, there's never enough time for everything, but there's always enough time for the most important thing. There's never enough time for everything, but there's always enough time for the most important thing. And I truly believe that if you pay very close attention to the information that Trisha just gave you, to potentially some of the information that I'm going to distribute to this evening, this may in fact be the most important thing you could be doing for you and your family's future in this moment. Now, something you get to know about me, even though you probably don't know me, is I don't do hype. I don't do smoke and mirrors. I've been in the game way too long to sit here and talk to you about houses and cars and watches and any of that stuff, because that's just not how we roll at Isagenix. We're not about that. What we're about is impact, and what we're about is helping you understand that there's a part of you that just deserves more. No matter what your spiritual beliefs are, no matter what your faith is, no matter where you've been, no matter what your past has been, there's some part of you that recognizes that you're called to feel, experience, and contribute more to the world. And if you weren't, what I know for sure is you wouldn't be here right now watching this video or Zoom. Type in the chat box, how many of you can appreciate that? Just check in for a moment. How many of you recognize that if you weren't called to experience something different in this life than based on results, you wouldn't be here right now? Why? Because there's a million other things you could be doing right now. There's a million other things you could potentially be doing, but instead of doing those other things, you're listening to that call, and you're listening to that voice. Right now, that voice might be small, but at least you're listening. So I acknowledge that and I honor that. I'll just take you back a little bit. You know, it's interesting. Trisha was 7 years ago, was trying to find ways to live life. And about 11 years ago, I was trying to figure out ways to escape life. And what I mean by that is I was 27 years old. I had just gone through another business collapse. I'd gone through about $80,000 in a 6-month period after being fairly successful in a business. I called off a wedding with my former fiance 2 days after the save the date cards went out. And I essentially looked around at my life, and I found myself living on my mom's couch and really asking myself some of those really deep, dark questions. Questions like, what's the point? Questions like, were people right about me? Or maybe people were right about me, because I've always been entrepreneurial. I've always been a big thinker. I've always thought outside the box, so much so that point blank, I am psychologically unemployable. When I was 7 years old, it was the day in class when people were like, the teacher was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And all the other kids were like, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer, this, that, and the other. What about you, Zach? And I said, I don't know what I want to do. I just don't want to do a lot of things at one time. And so I took the road less traveled. But that road, because it is the road less traveled, came with a lot of unpredictable, although successful people will tell you very predictable, road bumps, massive challenges, all kinds of incredible learning lessons. But it took me some years before I understood what those lessons were. And so rather than leaning into the lessons, I leaned into the lack. I leaned into the disappointment. I leaned into what I thought was a massive failure. Because here I was, 27 years young, and I'd already been through multiple businesses. And I started to ask myself questions like, why would a woman ever love me again? Why should anyone take me seriously? Here I am, another failure. Here I am living on my mom's couch. Maybe I really don't belong making an impact. Maybe I don't belong traveling the world. Maybe I'm not meant to speak on stages or train or coach or any of the aspirations I had in my younger kind of entrepreneurial years. Maybe I'm just what everybody else says about me. Maybe I'm just full of it. And so rather than looking for ways to live, like I said before, I was looking for ways not to live. And fortunately, I have a mother who would speak life into me every single day. And every single day she would say, Zachy, just put one foot in front of the other. Just put one foot in front of the other. Like, what can you control today? What can you control today? What can you focus on right now, in this moment? What are some of the things you can control? And what I recognized in that moment, some of those things I can control was what I ate, what I drank, the people I surrounded myself with, the media that I allowed into my mind, the books that I allowed into my space, the conversations that I allowed. And it was one of the greatest lessons she ever taught me. What can you control today? Because I think we can all agree that right now it feels like a lot of things are out of control, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of volatility in the world. And there are two types of people in my experience when it comes to crisis. There are two types of people. There's the people who grow up and the people who give up. And when I say grow up, I really mean grow up in terms of how we choose to handle adversity, how we choose to look at life circumstances, our philosophy on why things might be occurring, why they are. And so rather than playing the victim, after months of playing the victim, after months of woe is me, after months of feeling sorry for myself and wishing the world would feel sorry for me or thinking that the world owed me something, I just started to put one foot in front of the other. And I started to ask myself questions like, what's the gift in this? What's the gift in this? What else is possible on the other side of this? God, if this is what I'm being faced with right now, then clearly something must be waiting for me right around the corner. Something magnificent, something incredible must be waiting for me right around the corner if I continue to have these adversities. What I realized in that moment, and upon reflection, was a paradigm shift on something that we hear a lot of times. How many of you have heard people say things like, you're broken. Don't worry, you were broken. It's okay. That's not true. You've never been broken. I wasn't broken. I was being built. So no matter where you're at in your life right now, no matter what you're feeling right now, make no mistake that you're being built. You're being built for something more. You're being built for greater health. You're being built for greater service. You're being built for greater abundance. You're being built for greater community. You're being built for greater impact. And again, it's just a subtle but massive shift in how we view the world and our life philosophy. So as I started to put one foot in front of the other, I also started to get myself back into the gym. And I was paying very close attention to what I was putting into my body, and I was training 6-7 days a week. But no matter what I did, I just couldn't get back into that peak level condition I'd been in when I was a really competitive athlete. And so I ran into a